Hello again. And again, welcome to Distilogix webinars. Today's webinar is probably going to be the most exciting one for you in 2022. We brought technology vendors and ones that are changing the industry as we speak, with so much innovation, so much desire for change. This is why we have the name of Disrupt today and for our webinar. I'm excited and so thrilled to have you today. And I also cannot find the words to describe how grateful I am to our distinguished speakers and panelists today and our awesome guest of honor. We also have a group of supporting team members from each company. So we will be having speakers, panelists, we have the guest of honor, but also we have team members that will engage with the attendees, will be answering your questions and like responding to your inquiries and stuff like that. So, and before I lay down how we will proceed today and today's session, I want to ask first our spectacular group of speakers to introduce themselves and their companies, probably like 5 minutes each. And then so that we need to hear why these technology providers are different and what makes them so awesome and amazing. And once we're done with the speakers and panelists, I will ask our awesome guest of honor to introduce himself also and what he offers as our guest of honor today. We will start with Protelion, Protelion's CEO, Mr. Joseph Wakla. Would you please introduce yourself to the team and to the audience?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Mott. Yeah, so we are based in Germany. So your partner get every day new requests from your client. Why is this? Because your client wants to move the business fast, and you get every day new requests. So your partner, your clients working in hybrid environment, they're using on-premise application, cloud application, they're connecting via multiple locations to the offices and with different devices. All these things you must handle. Regarding the global pandemic, the number of home office users increasing extremely. And the users are using also more and more collaborative tools like Microsoft 365, Zoom, Teams. All of this technology is attractive for cyber criminals to attack companies with phishing mails, malware, or ransomware. And for the client, for the customer, or for the companies, it's important that they mitigate the risk of a breach. This is the most important thing, and also increase their productivity. The technology must adapt by the end user to eliminate the shadow IT. And the new technology must be simply integrated in the existing solution for the end user, because they pay a lot of money and they make a huge investment and they cannot throw the old things away. So we from Protelion, we developed a so-called zero trust network access solution based on a unique disruptive technology. Why is this disruptive? So our encryption is based on a so-called military-grade symmetric key technology. And this is others like our competitors like Cisco, Juniper, Palo Alto, Sophos, you name it. The standard VPN technology was developed in the 70s and based on asymmetric keys. This technology is older than 40 years right now, and all the weak points are known by the bad guys. In these days, in the 70s, you have no mobile devices available. So iPhone was later, and you have also the problem if you lose the connectivity with this old technology based on asymmetric keys, you must start always from scratch. And also, if you change the network, so you have a Wi-Fi environment in your office and you go out to the car, you get a new IP address, you must start from scratch with this old technology. This is no longer state of the art. You have also these weak points in this technology, man in the middle attacks, stolen certificates. This is every day you can read this in the news about how bad guys hacking companies. The most important thing of this old technology is that the future of the quantum computer can break every asymmetric key. In Germany, if you want to store your secrets longer than 6 years, you cannot use any more RSA technology. This by government classification. We are working with so-called symmetric key technology, and the symmetric key cannot be broken by the compute power of a quantum computer. We developed this disruptive software technology more than 20 years right now, and the technology is based also on the advanced encryption standard IS 256. With our technology, we are also GDPR compliant. This is very important for EU, the regulations. And I think you as a partner for Distilogix, you have a unique selling point with our technology and our products. So I will present today a few of our products during this webinar to you. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. I do admire your symmetric key encryption technology and the way it disrupts the PKI infrastructure and, you know, stuff in the middle for all of that old kind of technologies. I do admire the secure communication that you have, and I do admire how you took the industrial security to levels that no one has reached before. Next, I will move to Dr. Ardal Askaya. He's Xcitium's CISO. Dr. Ardal, please.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here again. This time virtually. As Mo knows, I lived 7 years in Dubai, in Middle East. Right now I'm in New York, and again, it's great to be here. As Mo said, I'm Dr. Doloskaya. Currently, I work as the Chief Information Security Officer at Xcitium, where we stop ransomware and we get zero downtime. Before we go there, I'm going to talk about the product later, but we all know what's happening in the world. Our world has changed. If you remember, if you're in the Middle East, from the Middle East, are still living there, we were locked down for months and months in our house. We could not go out. The world has changed. The way we live, the way we communicate, the way we work. Can you imagine 5 years ago, doing most of our meetings via Zoom or via Teams? People, especially in the Middle East and Africa, they're like, no, I want to see your face. But today, this is not the case anymore. What else has changed? Of course, the way we get hacked. Hackers are, again, a step ahead of us. I see them as the front wheel of the bicycle, where we defenders follow them to protect our environments. We all know hackers has to find just one attack vector to be successful, where we as defenders, we have thousands of endpoints, depending on your organization, thousands of end users, thousands of applications to protect. So how are we going to work with it? Are you just going to rely on your legacy applications to protect yourself? Or are you going to think a step ahead now to protect not just yourself, but your shareholders, your customers, and more importantly, the government is in our neck. Joseph just said GDPR. Yes, I know in the Middle East, you might think I don't care about GDPR, but we all know that if you have a European citizen working in any of your countries, that means you have to follow GDPR. What else? Is this only? No. We all know that many of the other countries are forcing now companies, organizations to protect their citizens' data. Okay, what else? When we look at hackers or threat actors, they continue to act sophisticated. They continue to find new ways. Do you know more? Let me ask you a question. Do you know a single day that today you don't see any hacking incidents? Big organizations such as Garmin, such as Microsoft, such as FireEye, world's biggest cybersecurity company, was hacked. So that's okay. There is two types of organizations. One, the ones they know they've been hacked. Two, the ones they don't. I'm not saying that. This is James Comey's saying, the ex-FBI director. If he says that, we have to think twice. All right, what else is happening? When we look in the world, did you know that there is every minute close to 35,000 password attacks? There is more than 1,900 IoT-based attack. When we look at the DDoS side, there is again more than 1,000 DDoS attacks per minute. Joseph and I think Mo also mentioned phishing attacks. They started, I mean, 90% of the attacks still start with phishing. Doesn't matter what technology you have, phishing is still an issue. If I ask you another question right now and say, hey, do you know the Earth layer? You're going to say, yes, of course. I'm an IT guy. There are 7 layers. No, there is actually 8. 8 layers. The 8 layers, you, the human. And unfortunately, there is no patch for human stability. So no matter what technology you have, if you don't train your end users, if you do not create a cybersecurity culture where your end users contribute towards your security, then you're going to have issues. Or you're going to use the technology of tomorrow to protect off the threats of today. How? I'm going to talk later about it. What else? Is this all? No. Let's look at the cost sides. Did you know that per minute a cybersecurity incident costs lots of dollars? Of course, you know. I mean, if you look at the cybersecurity attack vectors, you all know misconfiguration is still there. You all know phishing is still there. We all know the attack vectors are there, but one single ransomware attack costs more than $7 per minute. Again, when you look at malware attack, there is as I said, close to 2,000 new attack vectors. So what are we going to do? Are we going to shut down the business and go? Or are we going to use the right technology to help us to get protected? One more thing. Look, I work for a vendor. I know that. And before that, some of you do know, I used to be the CISO for a global bank, where I used, and way before that, Microsoft. Look, yes, products are important. As a vendor, I'm telling this as well. But don't forget, security is a process, not just a product. Let me give you a quick example before I let the other panelists to introduce themselves. Let's assume I do get a heart attack right now, and Mo is the best heart surgeon in the world. You know, what can he do? I mean, I assume he's next to me. He can just do a massage to me and hopefully call an ambulance or take me to a closest hospital to get his tools to help me to go back to normal. Without the tools, Mo is not going to have the right opportunity to help a patient. Same with you. You need the right tools, but which one? Should I get the most expensive one or should I get the cheapest one? Let me give you an example. Middle East. If I ask you what is the best car in the world, probably you're going to say either Ferrari, Lamborghini, Aston Martin. All right, here's an opportunity. I want to give you a free Lamborghini, all right, to drive, but with one condition. You are responsible of the maintenance cost. I would accept it. But there is one more condition. The second condition is you have to drive the Lamborghini in a desert.
Doesn't work.
No, right?
No.
It doesn't work because, yes, Lamborghini might be the best car in the world, but it's not designed to drive in a desert.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your applications. Let's talk about your antivirus, EDR, MDR software, which you think it's good because it's coming from the huge company, which is in Gartner. Do you think it's going to protect it? Probably yes. But how do you know that? I read it in Gartner. What is Gartner? Gartner is, I mean, with all respect, we use Gartner too, right? Gartner is an analyst. You pay the money, they test your product, and they write their opinion. So are you just going to rely on an opinion? Or let me give you a very quick example. When you buy a simple shoe, you go to store, or when you even order from Amazon or from Souk.com, ex-Amazon, you get the shoe, you test it, you try to walk. If it's comfortable, you buy it. So why you are not doing the same thing with your technology to ensure that the technology that you're using is protecting you against hackers? And that's what I'm going to talk later.
Thank you,
Again,
Dr.
I'm
Ardel.
Dr. Adoloska.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ardel. I always admire your books. Thank you for like contributing to our cybersecurity industry with like several books that I personally benefited from. And I admired Xcitium's zero threat technology, the only one that today claims 100% protection for your endpoint. Remember, this is like a very bold statement. 100% protection against ransomware and malware because it disrupts the protection and detection tools that we have today. And next, I'm moving to the Zecurion CEO, Mr. Alexey, to introduce himself. Please go ahead.
Hi everybody. Thank you very much for inviting us to this webinar and giving us the opportunity to present our ideas, our vision, and our solutions here. So I will be quick for now. Maybe I can use this saved time later in the presentation, hopefully. So actually, my name is Alexey Raevsky. I'm the CEO at Zecurion. We are a global information security, cybersecurity vendor. We have offices in Moscow and New York. And our key product is data leakage prevention solution. But it's not just the DLP. We introduced the new vision, new concept of this solution. We call this next generation DLP. And actually, the whole my presentation today will be devoted to this idea. So I will keep some intrigue for now. And I will explain this in more details during my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexey. I also admire how you guys gave a meaningful definition of next generation, because this is like an abused terminology. Everyone says that we've got a next generation technology. But when I look at how you guys did internal fraud detection, user behavior analytics in DLP and for DLP purposes, and you have had the artificial intelligence and machine learning all together to serve the purpose of now leaking your documents, that's what next generation DLP means.
Exactly. Thank you for the clarification. Actually, I don't like buzzwords like next generation, like disruption, like digital transformation, like blockchain and others. But sometimes it's hard to avoid this, and actually sometimes we must use this.
You gave a dictionary definition of next generation, so I appreciate that. Next, we're moving to Fractis CEO, Mr. Nico. 20 years of experience in incident response, came up with beautiful ideas of offering his services such as CISO as a service, CTO as a service. Nico, please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, and good morning, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for the opportunity to present. I will also keep my introduction relatively brief, and we'll save kind of some of the particular points that I'd like to cover for the slot later on. But just to give you a quick introduction myself and the company, Fractis is a business which is formed of professionals such as myself who have a lot of years of experience within the cybersecurity space, working and operating internally on behalf of organizations, but also as cybersecurity consultants. And myself and my colleagues have held CISO positions in large multinationals. We've held IT director positions in government and large kind of corporations, public and private sector. And the purpose of our business is that we identified the need to be able to provide a bridge between technologies and some of the very, very exciting technologies that we are going to talk about today from kind of my peers and colleagues. And the bridge between having a technology and having the need sometimes isn't enough. You also sometimes need a trusted advisor, someone who has been in your shoes and has seen multiple environments that can tell you this is what will work and how it will work. And also, I really like the Lamborghini example as well that was offered earlier. And it's sometimes about knowing what you need and also the type of deployment, or if you will, solutions provide various levels of protection, various modules or whatnot. So what we try to do is provide advisory, non-technology dependent advisory and consulting services to help resolve certain problems or needs that have to do with technical things, architecture, non-technical things like risk assessment, strategy, things that are really important in order to act as the umbrella for everything to fall under and be nicely kind of organized and structured. But also in terms of products, our view is we are kind of product agnostic, if you will, and we have worked with many of the kind of well-known vendors across the globe, and we also partner with clients and with partners and such as yourselves as well, to help assess certain applications, but also deploy and kind of optimize and fine tune. So that's a little bit about us, and I look forward to speaking to you a bit more about that later on.
Thank you so much, Nico. And again, I admire also how the way you package your services, very innovative, man, and looking forward to your presentation. And finally, with the introductions to our guest of honor, Mr. Sharif has someone that I always enjoy talking to. So I would love to hear from you, your introduction, please.
I'm glad you enjoyed the blabbling I do. Okay. I'm different than I think everyone is trying to help you. I come from the other side. I come from the bad side. So I've been in offensive security for the past 30 years. We basically provide command and controls, evasion, 0 days, and all of that for mostly governments, counterterrorism and all that. And then that led us to a new approach. So now we're using whatever dark skills we gained through the years to help. So we're building the first cyber defense command and control. So we built so many command and controls for offensive security, and now we're trying to do it for defense. The whole idea is about speed. How fast will it take you to recognize something, and how fast will it take you to respond? And we're also agnostic. So as a command and control, we can sit on top of anything and just like one interface to control all your technologies and take your action beside our own understanding of it. It's a new pitch, but I think we're the only ones, so it's really hard.
Yeah. I love it, Sharif. I love how brilliant it is to take the same practices that you would do as an offensive security expert to the defense side. So command and control that you use to attack and to penetrate and to gain control of someone's assets, you're applying the same concept and architecture and technology and services for defense purposes. That's why the concept of cyber defense today is being redefined. It's probably also one of the loudest concepts that we have in the industry today is being redefined. And I love our discussion previously, Sharif, when you were told, Sharif is taking it like so brilliantly. He wants, do you guys know Tony Stark, the Iron Man and his crazy things, this hologram, and he wants to introduce that hologram controls of your security. So I cannot wait for that, man. I cannot wait.
We actually got one now. We found a British company that provides SOC interfaces like 3D. They don't know that it can be used for SOC, but we're using it for a SOC. So it's really cool. So you can sit in a SOC and use your hand and tap around and all of that. That's really fun.
So
it's a boring job.
Yeah, sitting in the SOC, in the Security Operations Center, is not boring anymore. It doesn't hurt your back anymore, right?
No.
It's lots of fun.
It's a VR without the VR glasses.
Yes, it's holograms. It's Tony Stark and the Iron Man. So great. So this is how we will get through this webinar. I'll give you a 1 minute opening note myself to emphasize in the word disrupt and why we call this webinar Disrupt. And then we will start the presentation. So each one of our distinguished speakers will run a 20-minute presentation or demo. Please pay attention to these presentations because we will have an online quiz and like a quiz game at the end of the webinar. And the correct answers are in these presentations. It's a very simple quiz. The correct answers, again, are in these presentations. Pay attention, and hopefully you will be the winner of our prize today, which is the iPhone 14, the latest iPhone 14 Pro Max. And with my presentation, I'll take 1 minute because I cannot really do well next to these brilliant and smart people. So I'll do my best to go along with them. So why disrupt today, guys? Because you don't have to have a PhD degree from Johns Hopkins, like Dr. Rubin, to know that people's computers today are not getting more secure. No. You don't need a PhD degree in cybersecurity to know that we have more infections with viruses and malware. That things are getting more under control of malware. You don't need to have a PhD degree. You were living it. I personally worked with customers this year in 2022 on average of a major attack and ransomware or malware attack per week since the beginning of 22. Why? Because we have almost 500,000 new malware every single day. These are unknowns. These are not anymore zero-day malware and zero-day attacks. There are zero-hour days and attacks. Go to the threat map offered by Xcitium, and you will be surprised and shocked of the amount of these unknowns and how many of them, look at the hashtags and all of that. You'll be surprised how many of them are not even detected by so many technology vendors that we have today. Why? Because why disrupt? Because we have today a successful ransomware attack every 11 seconds. In 2021, 66% of the companies globally were victims of successful ransomware attacks and malware attacks. There is a 66% chance that your company was compromised somehow by malware or ransomware. And the old methods of making good things better do not work anymore. Trying to make the best antivirus on earth become even better doesn't work anymore. Making advanced technology more advanced doesn't work anymore. Spending tens of billions of dollars in related R&D simply does not work. We need to disrupt the industry with technologies that approach the problem in an absolutely different way. That's the basic principle definition of innovation. Disruption is the basic principle definition of innovation. We need also disruptive practices. Whether that at the origination of data, processing of data. Who could think that you would have a ransomware from Log4j, for example? Data at transit, live data, and long-term storage, regardless of how you control and contain that with access control, and you look at logs and how you add managed services. The whole thing needs to be disrupted today. And that's what we are learning from these great minds today. And now we are ready to move to the first presentation. And we will start with Mr. Joseph Wakla from Protelion to present Protelion solutions and services. I'll have to repeat, please pay attention to the presentation details, because we're having a game at the end of the webinar. And we want you to win this iPhone 4. We want you to have fun and learn by having fun. It's a disruptive technology. Pay attention to it. Please ask questions through the questions and answers or through the chat log. Please go ahead, Dr. Wasla, please.
Yes, hello. So can you see my monitor?
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, as I mentioned, I will give you a short update about a few of our products we have in our portfolio, and I think this is or this portfolio is very interesting for you regarding we using this disruptive technology. So hopefully it works. Yeah, so why are we doing that? Because the standard perimeter, you know, from the past is not anymore there. So in the past, you have a closed environment in your company, you have a firewall and everything was fine. Right now, the world is moving. So you have the people, remote worker, you use SD-WAN technology and so on. And so you must have new technology to protect your environment against the cyber attacks. So this is a slide you can see. So after that, Mr. Mott will share the presentation. You can go to this website. So the cyber attacks start in the morning in China. So they start their work at 8 o'clock in the morning. They have their lunch break and they stop at 5 o'clock in the evening. And then the attacks are going around the world and stopping at the evening in the US. And as you see here, this is the latest information from Cybersecurity Venture. This is a global business for them, because the cost of a cyber crime will increase extremely every year. And this is not only the amount you must pay the ransom to come back in an operational mode for a company takes months. So they hacked a hospital here in Germany and they pay the ransom, but it takes for the hospital 3 months to go back in a normal operation mode. And this is the costs they affect extremely. So the hackers using these tools, I think everybody from you is or knows these tools they're using. So this is called Shodan. And with this tool, you can find every industry device on the earth is not protected. So I put here in a company in Germany, it's called Siemens. They developed these PLC controllers for industries. And if you give this name Siemens as SIEM, this is a type of the controller in, you find in the world 864 devices you can hack immediately. And Siemens username is admin and the password is courage return. So you are inside this controller, you can manipulate it. And then what the administrator is doing, he calls a guy who can fix it and he's connecting to this device with his admin credentials. And so they have everything for hack your company. So this tool is very powerful. So you can go down to watch on protocols, video cameras. If you put it here, Dahua, this is a company in China producing video cameras, you find more than 1 million video cameras you can hack immediately. So the cyber criminals are very organized and using these powerful tools for their attacks. And if they're inside, so they have lateral movements, the normal average time to detect that these guys are inside the company is about 146 days. Here in Germany, company infected is called Continental. They're producing tires and also they are one tier supplier for all the big OEMs like Mercedes and Volkswagen. They denied to pay the ransom to them. And so they published right now all the internal documents on the darknet. So how is the calculation for Volkswagen? How is their calculation for Mercedes-Benz? And a lot of people, they are interested in this information, pay a lot of money to get these first secrets from these companies. So the new paradigm is zero trust security because the old way are not working any longer. So from Forrester, we have this zero trust paradigm, and it's also by NIST. So you must have a secure access and secure authentication. The second one and most important is least privileges, because if you move in a company from one position to another, nobody will delay the old privileges you have. And it is not necessary that a guy in the human resource can connect to data in the production side. It's not necessary. So this is also important. And the monitoring. So you not only track on the perimeter like a firewall, who is this guy? You must track them always if he's moving around in your inside network. And so you must track them, identify and check every time what he's doing. And this is a thing from NIST and from Forrester. And so Gartner, as we mentioned before, or Dr. Erhard mentioned before, this is a paradigm from Gartner. You need tools to detect this guy. So identity access management is one thing, multi-factor authentication, endpoint protection, and zero trust network access, so micro-segmentation. These are the new paradigms you must realize for your clients to protect them against the new cyber attacks. So we have these products in our portfolio. So we have next generation firewall technology. This is layer 7 firewall. And we also have products like threat detection and response. As Mr. Sharif told us, this is important to detect what is going on in your network each time. And we developed a product working like a seam, but the problems with the seam is you only look on the historical data, and you must write rules, and then you can detect. What we're doing, we're using seam technology, but we're also using heuristic technology. We're installing sensors in the corporate network and on the endpoints, and we know exactly at each time what's going on in the network, and then we can generate events, and from these events we can generate incidents. So these are the hierarchical products. So you must have a first line of defense in your company, and then you must protect secure web traffic and also non-secure traffic, because 80% of a traffic in a company is SSL encrypted. And so you must also have a possibility to look inside this traffic. And with our technology, for example, Exchange Firewall, we can do that. So as I mentioned before, headquarters is in Berlin. We have locations in Zurich for government customers and also in New York. One important thing is that we have the certification from the US market. We are certified FIPS 140/2 with our technology. If you want to deal with government customers in the US or outside Germany, this is an important certification you need. And we have big partners. One of the most important from us in the mobile world is Samsung, because we using, for example, for our hard phones for government customers or secret services, Samsung devices with Samsung Knox. So we also not only encrypt the communication, we also encrypt the data on the mobile. So if you leave your mobile in a taxi, nobody can steal your data. And so Samsung is a very large development partner for us. So this is a certificate I mentioned. This is for the US market. This is the same as our competitors like Cisco, Juniper have. So I will go not in all products today because it's too many. So I will focus on our disruptive VPN technology based on symmetric keys. I will give you a short update about our mobile technology we develop for iOS and Android devices, and give you an update about our industry solution, because more and more important is that companies using their devices worldwide. Production site is in China, for example. You must have a secure channel to this production site, and with our technology we can realize this very easy. So I mentioned before, the standard technology based on asymmetric keys. If you use IPsec, SSL, TSL, this is all the same. All our competitors using the same technology. And as I mentioned, this is not no longer state of the art, because this technology is more than 40 years old right now. And so we decided 20 years ago to use military grade technology based on this so-called symmetric keys. Why are we doing that? This is a picture from the NSA. They developed a program, it's called Hammerstein, you can Google that. And they stealing with a man in the middle attacks the key, recording the communication, and after that they can decrypt very easy. So this is all the weak point in this asymmetric key technology regarding this more than 40 years old. You have these programs, and unfortunately the NSA is not the host anymore because they hacked the NSA, and this program is available on the darknet for everyone who want to use. So Mr. Mott in the introduction mentioned we don't need to have a EKI, PKI infrastructure. We don't need to have certificates because they can be stolen, manipulated. Stolen certificates from Siemens S7 cost right now 50 euros. So it's very easy to simulate. So the last hack on Apple devices, they're using an original certificate from the developers. Most important thing right now, that quantum computer performance power can break every asymmetric key. I told you the government in Germany, if you want to keep your secret longer than 6 years, you cannot use RSA technology anymore. But a quantum computer, the performance cannot break symmetric keys that we are using. Also important is that we are transparent for all applications. So you don't need to manipulate or we give you no libraries you can include in your application. Our software is running with each application in the market as before you're using that. So for example, you download an app from Google or Apple, you download our app from Google or Apple, and with this combination, you have an end-to-end encryption technology available on your device without having some administrator stuff or some recompiling of the end applications. So this is a technology you're familiar with, as I mentioned, developed in the 70s. You protect only the way over the internet. Then you have a gateway. Do you see the presentation?
Yes, we see you.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we see you.
So you have a gateway normally. This is always a bottleneck because all communication must go through this gateway. Also, if you have new requirements about CPU power or secure feature in the CPU, you must change this gateway. And it's very expensive for the companies. To establish the communication, you must exchange private public key. And after the communication is established, use the same key for the whole application. As I mentioned before, with our technology, each package we send out with a different key. This is a more reliable product. And if the connection drops, you must start from scratch. You must exchange private public key. With our technology as a symmetric key is on the endpoint, if this device gets the IP address, first package is out and is encrypted. We're using for transport here UDP, and we encrypt a TCP IP package in a UDP package. So we have a very low latency with our technology, very important if you're using our technology on mobile devices for secure communication. So this is how our technology is working. So you're sitting here in a hotel room in Berlin, for example, you get an IP address, then one package is sent to a software inside your corporation. It's called coordinator with the actual IP address. So we know each time which is the actual IP address of this endpoint you want to communicate. And so we can communicate on a direct link. Such a gateway, as you saw before, we don't need. So this bottleneck is not necessary for our technology. If the connection breaks, no problem. If you drive with a car or in a train, if this device gets an IP address back, first package is going out is encrypted. And as I mentioned, each package we send out, we're using a different key. What you can also easily do is a so-called VLAN in an existing environment. So if you have government customer or banking customer, and they have special requests for protecting the CEO communication, for example, normally you established VLAN technology, you must configure MAC addresses, switches, and so on. With our technology, it's very easy, only 3 pieces of software on the laptops, on the device and user devices. And then you have a VLAN in your existing network. So this can be a Cisco, Juniper, you name it. And then with our technology, you have a second level of protecting. And what also we do is we end-to-end protecting. So normally, if you're using TLS or IPsec technology, you must open ports, and then after the port is open, you can go around the complete network behind this firewall. With our technology, we check here, is the user using the right protocol? Is he using the right port? And we're connecting to the application. So it's not, as the other technology, easy if you're behind the firewall, you can move around in the network. We connecting directly to the application on the application level. So product is available as a cloud solution, or for government customer, for example, is normally they're using on-premise installation of our technology. And we developed 2 software parts, one management tool, one communication endpoint. So this is responsible for knowing exactly what each IP address you have at each time. And these are also supporting also Hyper-Vs. You can install our software very easy. On the endpoint side, we support all the normal operating systems and also industry gateway. I will not go in detail in this. So as I mentioned, you don't need to change the application if you're using our security technology. So you download an app from Google or Apple, and you want to connect with this app to a server. So we check with our software, you download also our software from Google or Apple, which IP address you want to reach. If the IP address is in a secure network and we have the symmetric key for the endpoint, we encrypt the data. If you start on your device a browser and you want to go to Google 8.8.8, this is not in the secure network, then this is an encrypted traffic we send out. So the end user must not have in their mind, I must start this and this and this application to communicate secure. This is done automatically by our software stack. So there are some examples right now how we can use, or how you can use our technology. So we developed here for a bank customer Cisco phone environment, and we protect end-to-end communication for video conference calls or landline phones. So unfortunately, we cannot install on a Cisco phone our software regarding low CPU power and memory. So we install on a Windows computer or in a virtual environment a piece of software, and the last meter to this device is then not protected. So for video cameras, for example, we also cannot install our software regarding the low CPU power. So we're using some piece of software, and so you can have a side-to-side communication protected by our technology. If you're using a soft phone from Cisco, you can install directly our software on the PC, and so you have also the communication protected under the endpoints. We developed this also for the hyperscaler like Amazon, Microsoft Azure, and Google. Regarding, we have industry clients, they want to bring their data to the cloud because of the low cost for the CPU power and make the analytics in the cloud. And so we have the possibility with our technology, you install, for example, our coordinator also at Amazon or at Google, to have an end-to-end protected communication channel to these devices from the factory side, for example, to make the analytics. So we have a company, they permanent transfers the vibration of a machine to Amazon, makes the analytics, and they know exactly that in 2 weeks the system goes down and it's broken, and they can make some arrangement with the client and say, okay, we know in 2 weeks the system is down. Maybe we may have a maintenance window a little bit before.
Yeah, Mr. Wakla, some of the attendees are asking like to slow down a bit because they're interested in the presentation. It's just Mr. Wakla is trying to finish within 20 minutes because we're like cautious of time. Please proceed. Do your best, please. Yeah.
So maybe. Can you hear the sound now?
No, we cannot hear the sound. If you can, from the options, try to.
So this is a video Mr. Mott shared with you. This is on YouTube. So what we present here is our solution for, so you told me that I can have a...
Yeah, not from here, no, from the top side of Zoom, you can find from there will be 3 dots.
Okay, anymore. So anyway, so Mr. Mott will send you the YouTube link so you can see the video from us, how we can, or how easy it is to go in a private communication channel on a public hotspot like an airport or a railway station, and we can protect this completely, so nobody can spy what you are talking or what data you're sending out with our technology. So this is a technology we developed special for mobile devices like iOS and Android, but is also running on macOS, on Windows, and all other operating systems. So we have a secure messenger. As you know, WhatsApp is not allowed in Europe anymore because this is not GDPR compliant for companies, and you must think about a new enterprise messenger technology. This is GDPR compliant, and our technology can handle that. So
and actually, it's not only because of compliance. I've been in talks with 2 huge customers in the region where their message is, we invest everything in securing our environment, but our employees, they have their cell phones connected to our network and they use WhatsApp, and that's a major threat to them. So this is why they are replacing WhatsApp now with secure communication, because people still want to send videos and files and instant messages. They will not stop that. Do not think about blocking that.
No. So the good thing is you can install our app in parallel to WhatsApp. So if you want to communicate with your children or with your wife, you can use WhatsApp. But if you want to have a private communication with your manager or your organization, you start the other app, Protelion app, Enterprise Messenger, and it's the same phone. So you don't need to have a separate phone for that. So it's running in parallel. And so you have a secure channel to do that. So we can have mobile communication. We can use also the technology on such phones. We developed this on so-called Grandstream phones. They are running Android on that. And so you have a complete environment. You can make secure end-to-end communication with our our software technology. As I mentioned, you have a separate address book on your phone. So the normal you're using with WhatsApp with your children. And then if you start our software, we check in the address book with whom you're allowed to communicate, and then we can establish the secure channel to the endpoints. As we don't have asymmetric key, like we've used symmetric keys, you have no man-in-the-middle attack on our technology. So this private communication on your mobile cannot be spied by agencies or government organizations. Also, if you switch the network, so you go out or you drive with your car, you lose a connection with our technology based on symmetric keys. Always, if the device gets an IP address back, you have the first communication is out and the encrypted channel. So we have very low latency also regarding using UDP, and also if the connection drops, we immediately have established the secure link. You can download this app from Google or Apple Store, but we also support for government customers that they have their own app store, and you can also install our technology in your own app store. We also can use it in a SIP environment, so we can use this technology right now to have end-to-end protected communication also to landline phones from your mobile. This is very attractive because if you see government customers, I was in the office, we have 5 different phones on one desk to whom they want to talk, and with our technology we combine all this to one phone for them.
Yeah, because you don't want someone to intercept the call from the Prime Minister, for example,
Right.
or Minister
Yes.
of Defense.
Yeah, but it was
these are VIPs.
Right, but if you see a desk with 5 different phones on that, so it's a little bit crazy, but we solve these problems for them.
Yes.
So this is the app. It looks like the same as WhatsApp, and but it's secure. We don't have communication outside your company, so it's GDPR compliant, and also not using such cloud services in the US or anywhere else. So the software is running complete in your corporate environment. We're also using this for video calls, for example. One customer requested us to see the person on the other endpoint, because we had this discussion, if somebody stolen the phone, it is the right person who call you, and so we can also use video calls to double check if the person is a person you want to communicate. Then we have special features for police integrated on this phone. It's a group chat, so the head of this department can communicate with different clients, but not in the opposite way, it's not possible. And we have a special phone developed for secret services or government users. It's a hardened phone. So together with the client, we define what applications are on the phone. You cannot do factory reset, for example, on that phone, so it's forbidden. And you can also not download your own app on this phone. It's not possible. This is complete hardened. And we support here for the phone Samsung, as I mentioned before, with Samsung Knox. We encrypt also the data. We support Google Pixel phone and Xiaomi V8 for this. These are special phones for special web services and running on a normal technology. And as I mentioned, the software is also available on phones using Android operating system like this Grandstream. So you have an end-to-end communication channel, protected your communication. You can transfer files, video calls, and all these things you know from WhatsApp. It's the same functionality. Then I want to give you a short update about our industry product line. So right now you cannot see this, you cannot hear this video, sorry. The sound is not transmitting, but anyway, Mr. Watt will send you the link. So in the industry environment, you have the same requirements as in the IT environment. You want to communicate over unsecure channels with this device. You must have remote maintenance. You're using as a service model for these clients. And so more and more of these features from the IT coming to the OT environment. But on the OT, you have different requirements. In the OT environment, you cannot shut down the systems immediately. In the IT, you patch your system, your laptop every 30 days. This is not possible in the OT. So systems running more than 30 years and you cannot touch them because the production side goes down. And so you must handle all these special requirements. You see here the bad guys also using some kind of technology. So they hack, for example, a device from Schneider Electric that is implemented in a power plant in Saudi Arabia. And if you download the patch, the latest release on this Schneider Electric device, you install the malware immediately, and they shut down a complete power supply in Saudi Arabia. So Cornelia Pipeline, you know that half of South America has no gasoline, and they're using this from Cassia. And also Uber. The Uber hack was very extremely because they have a two-factor authentication and they're stealing the credentials of an end user. And they pay a lot of money for that information, but then they hack Uber.
Yeah, and lately, actually, in October 4th, Tata Power, of course, we can mention those names because they are announced publicly. Tata Power in India was had a major attack that got them like crippled for 10 days, and they were negotiating with the ransomware gang and ended nowhere, and they were like most of their data now is in the dark web. It was a massive power, and Tata Power, if you know it, it produces 33% of power in India. Yeah.
And what also is a big problem that some companies like HP using some defected implementation of TCP/IP stack. This is an open source technology they're using in their devices. And you see here the Ripple 20 or the Amnesia 33rd. So 79% of all HP printers are infected of this effect. And so if you're using such technology, it's not proven, you have the problems then afterwards. Also Log4j, everybody is known of these things. So in the industry environment, you have different requirements. For example, for one customer, we have a restricted data flow. You can only communicate in one direction. It's not allowed that you can communicate in both directions. And your technology must aware of that things. This is a maintenance mature model. I put you in, you see that you have in the industry environment different things. So preventive. So you must plan a service in an environment of a factory site, for example, for OEM automotive company. You cannot say, okay, let's shut down this service immediately because the complete production site stands still. And this is predictive preventive maintenance, and this is very important for this clients. So with our technology, we can protect that ransom attack from the IT environment can go down to the OT level and stop a complete site. We're using firewall technology from us. We're using special VPN connectivity, and we can protect until the endpoints of the sensors of this device. So there are some examples how we're using our technology. So you have field engineers, they want to maintain some devices. We have companies here in Germany using our technology for heating systems, for big power supplies. We have also different channels we can communicate. So we have a failover. If the internet is not working, we can do the failover over mobile network. To connect to such devices is important for power supplies, for example, that you have a redundancy in your technology. And as I mentioned before, we have also our software ready for the hyperscaler, because many people in Germany want to transmit the data to the cloud, do the analytics in the cloud, and then get the feedback when the maintenance must start on the endpoints. So we're also using this for green energy technology. So we have this implemented in a wind park. So the requirements is they measure the rotation of the wind of the propeller. If it is too fast, they reduce the speed regarding the systems go down very early. If it is too slow, they optimize because they're losing money. And so from the remote side, from the SCADA system in Germany, they can control this power supply, wind parks all over the world, protected by our technology. Using also this for video cameras, this technology, because in government organizations, they want not that somebody hacks the cameras and can see everybody who leaves the company, when he's leaving, which car he's driving, and so on. So there are some things we developed. And we also have OEM integration of our systems. We're working here in Germany with Harting. They developed a special industry device. You can configure this device as you want. And we also running our software on OEM product like Teltonica. This device has the functionality of 2 different SIM cards. You can have two different mobile provider. If one mobile provider goes down, you have the second mobile provider you can communicate. And on these devices like Vago, like Phoenix Contact, like Teltonica, we implement our software in a Docker container. And so it's very convenient for them, and you can download from these companies directly our software stack from their web shops. Then a short update about next generation firewall. This is layer 7 firewall we developed here, and only one example what we're doing with companies here in Germany, because their customers want always using Microsoft Office 365. And we install in the data center or the cloud provider 2 of our software pieces in the virtual environment, our next generation X firewall and our security gateway. And so we can block the communication from the cloud, from Microsoft Office 365, for example, or SAP, to the data center. We analyze the traffic here, and then we have a secured channel. The screen things are secured channel. They can connect it to the Microsoft Office on a secured channel. Mobile devices, for example, laptops, or also we can connect very easy to the corporate environment and protect all this information from these guys, because all want to use this technology right now in the cloud, and with our software technology it's very easy to protect them. So this is the next generation firewall. I will not go detail. We also have the possibility to encrypt SSL traffic, because 80% of the traffic in a company is SSL encrypted, and we can encrypt it and see what is the content of the data inside. And of course, this is a layer 7 firewall. We analyze the app, not only the IP address, and we look inside each data packages. Next product, I will go a little bit detail. As Mr. Sharif mentioned, it is important to have a SOC team available at big customer side, but for small, medium size, they don't have the resources to run a SOC team. So you must run a SOC team 7 days a week, 24 hours. And we developed a product you can run as a security service management provider to smaller companies, only if you need to install sensors on the corporate network, and then you can make the analytics. So we developed software product. It's a management center. It's an analytics. This is AI technology and the detection in the network and on the endpoints. We're using, as I mentioned before, SIEM technology. But the only problem with SIEM is you look on the historical data, not on the actual data. And for that, we also analyze the actual traffic, what's going on in your network. So if a virus is installed, the virus is not starting immediately. He tries to connect other servers in your network. And if we detect that this server connects other servers and he never did it before, we generate some events and some incidents then with our AI technology. So this is working how we have a spam port on the firewall, on the switch port, on the switch of the company, and then we analyze in our technology the actual traffic. If you've defined something that is not, or there is some malware coming on in your company, so we can generate alarm and send it to the SOC team so they can decide it. And what also we did, we analyzed in very detail what's going on, because if you have a SAP system running, you cannot say I shut down my SAP system. So thousands of users are working with this, and so you must detect what you're doing and what are the next steps. And then last, hopefully I am time, it's our training platform. So as you know, if you have a military background, training is important. You must train your people that in the case when something happens, you must react in a right way. And so we developed this product. You can install it on hardware on your side. You can use this product from us as a managed security service provider and offer the services to SOC teams, for banks, for government, for military user. And so we simulate a scenario with the red team and the blue team. The red team and the blue team is fighting against each other with real scenarios. What are the cyber attacks in the world? So we make a mirror of the existing network in virtual environments, and then the red team and the blue team is fighting against each other, and they can measure how long it takes to block the attack. And this is very interesting for universities to train the students, but also for banks, big banks. They have their own SOC team to train these people on every actual cyber attacks that are on the market. And with this tool, you can offer these services to small, medium-sized companies because they don't have the resources to have an operating system in the SOC 7 days, 24 hours. Okay, so I hope I'm making it 20 minutes. It's hard.
It's a bit more 20 minutes, but that's
yeah,
okay.
Okay. We have other products, but this is too short.
Yes, no
so
issues.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Guys, just to remember this number, 2265. This is the number of applications that the Protelion firewall can detect and identify. Before we move to Dr. Ardal, I want to hear from Sharif, your thoughts, Sharif, about Protelion and the presentation.
It's a lot of things, but for the communication, it's really powerful, especially if my understanding, you actually have a hardened hardware, right? Not just the software. That's a big differentiator between everybody else, because everybody relies on the data. Everybody relies on MDM approach or more encryption communication, but at the same time, you can still access the application and then just compromise it. For national security, you will actually need a device as well. So, and the device is your own proprietary, or it's Android based, or what is it?
So for government customers, we can detect if somebody opened this case. We delete immediately everything on this case and all these things. So we have special requirements for government customers, and it's a product line. It's called Armed by us.
Okay, so this is the main thing. On the OT, you have I don't think it's just a SIM. It's more of a do you connect to all the PLC, all the other controls, or you only collect and ingest? Or you can actually control them as well?
We can control, so you can install our software on the endpoint, like I mentioned. So Phoenix Contact, Vago, they are a partner from us. We implement our software directly on the PLC controller. And so you have an end-to-end communication channel until this controller.
Okay, so you're basically like a command and control as well.
Yes.
So it's actually cool. Okay, we're going there when data. Yeah, that's good. Actually, I have a project for you. Okay,
cool. Great. Okay, thank you, Sharif.
Okay.
Thank you, Sir Wakla. Thank you to Dr. Ardal. We move to you, our hero. Go ahead, please, for the Xcitium presentation. And please, guys, again, pay attention to the presentation.
Thank you. Let me share my screen.
You may want to increase your audio level so that we can hear you well, Dr. Ardal.
Sure. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can hear you much better now. Yeah.
Perfect. Let me see. Can you see my screen? Let me share it again. I think I was sharing the wrong screen.
Okay.
Share screen. You should be able to see now the correct screen. Can you?
Yes, I can see it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. We've done the introduction before. Let's talk about how Xcitium can help you to protect. You mentioned we have a bold statement. I mean, look, I truly believe there is no 100% security, but we minimize the chances by very, very high. But how? Let's talk about it. We all know that ransomware is a big issue, right? The payments are rising. I mean, Joseph mentioned it as well. Probably Sharif is going to talk about it. We talked about the cost per minute, per hour, this is all numbers which is creating the scare factor. But I guess people here want to learn how they can protect themselves and how they can win the iPhone, of course. All right. Here's 1 second. I'm just going to remove, I guess you see this one here. Let me quickly remove it so it doesn't interrupt you. When we look at the attack vectors, right? Hackers are, as I mentioned earlier, getting more sophisticated. They're getting faster, and the damage from cyber institutions increases over the time. This is not a secret. There is multiple phases in hacking, but usually when we look at the damage, it happens pre-execution and post-execution. For the pre-execution, you should have prevention system. And for the post-execution, you should be able to detect and respond. But how is this going to happen? When we look spatially into detect and response phase, it's not cheap. There are some vendors, they charge close to $100 per endpoint. And if you have, just imagine my previous organization, we had more than 100,000 employees, which means minimum 100,000 endpoints plus $100. Just imagine the cost. Is it really worth to spend that much? I mean, of course it is when you look at the cost per minute, but there should be some other ways. Dozens of incidents requiring response. And unfortunately, based on many organizations such as Zecurion, Microsoft, everybody's talking about the cybersecurity skill shortage, right? We don't have enough talent. We don't have people how to use the technology, because technology can be hard sometimes. And when we look at Verizon data breach report or IBM data breach report, we always see that misconfiguration is a huge attack vector. So how are they going to remediate for the right cost? How are we going to minimize user downtime? And more importantly, how are we going to minimize the risk of significant breach? Mo, you mentioned Tata. You mentioned, I think someone else mentioned Aramco. If you remember 2014, I was back in the region when they lost 70% of their computing power. So we have to raise and we have to shift the course, but how are we going to do it? First of all, when we look at the pre-execution phase, we see massive increases in volume and variety of threats, lots of false positive, lots of applications that we don't know about it. Lots of applications, they look good, but in reality they are bad, or they're good, but it acts like it's bad. How are we gonna control all these? Remember, as defenders, we have lots of endpoints, we have lots of applications, we have lots of software, and sometimes the hardware associated to software to protect the environment. But how are we going to look at the single details to increase our security? It's like if we are in the same room, doesn't matter how protected you are. If I have COVID, most probably you will get COVID if you're not immune. What I'm trying to say is, the time to detect and respond is unfortunately increasing, because modern attacks can do damage in seconds, around the clock, as you said more in the beginning, right? It's not a 0 day anymore. It's 0 second maybe. So I don't know if you ever went to a war room. I did. War room is where if the company is hacked during my Microsoft days, you get to keep people in the room and you try to do incident response. And honestly, every second feels like an hour. A few weeks ago, I was in Singapore delivering a session for Microsoft top customers. And even there, I had a CIO who said, you know what? I was the CIO of a small organization with 100 PCs. The hackers asked only for 12 Bitcoins. Back then, Bitcoin was $65,000. And the stress I went through was probably more worth than the time, the money that the hackers requested. So what are we going to do? There is currently two unsustainable options. Option one, you're going to use all these beautiful products, your AI, machine learning, your behavioral antivirus, your HIPS, your host firewall. But the challenge is false positives. They're all needed. I'm not saying you don't need all these, but we need something better, or we need something to minimize all these. What is the option two? You're going to increase your staff. This is not always very optimal. Who has enough budget for their staff? Yeah, EDR, XDR, threat hunting. Yeah, look at FireEye. Again, it was in Navy's. They're one of the biggest, right, when it comes to threat hunting. But they were hacked through a supply chain attack. So sometimes it really doesn't matter what you have, but it really matters how you are connected, what you have, how you have. And for that, you have to use automation. But again, challenge I spoke a few minutes ago, costs are not is huge, it's not cheap, and the talent shortage. So what else can we do? If there was a way that you contain unknowns, let me look at applications. Look, let me give an example. Just assume aliens want to take the world. Okay, they're talking between each other, and they say, you know what? Let's invade the world. One of the aliens says, yeah, that's easy. Let's remove all the food from the world, and humans will suffer within 30, 40 days. The other alien says, you know what? Let's be smarter. Let's take all the water out of the world, then the humans will suffer within 2 days. The third one says, you know what? Let's take all oxygen out from the world, and the humans will suffer within 2 to 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes. So just imagine we are the aliens, and we want to take away hacking. How can we do that? Of course, if we could just prevent the write permission of a malware, or if we could just prevent an attack before it happens, like the third alien who takes the oxygen out of the world, then we're not going to have much space to live, right? Same, if we could just find a way to contain unknowns, this will help us to eliminate the remediation cost. This will help us to eliminate the user downtime, and more importantly, reduce the alert fatigue. Again, this is a key word which I really don't like much, but why are we using Steam these days? We have logs, gigs, terabytes of logs, depending on your organization size. And sometimes one little log can be the key definer between getting hacked and not getting hacked. What else? I just mentioned, we have skill shortage. So we need to free up resources to be able to stop breaches. But is this possible today? What is option 3? For us as Xcitium, we name option 3 as zero-dwell containment. Wow, all right, another buzzword is coming. What is zero-dwell containment? I mean, before I go talk about technology, let me talk about the traditional endpoint security. I think you all know what the antivirus is. You all know what the EDR is. You all know what ML is, AI is. We all guess how a file executes infects in a network. So if we could just by default deny the malware to execute in your hard drive, in your memory, in your registry file, then we could just eliminate the issue. And we could just save billions of time. But how? We have a patent technology. It's not pending patent, it is patent already, which is being used globally. What we call, as I said, zero-dwell containment. So as soon as the file is executed inside the network, and if the file is identified as unknown, I'm not talking about Microsoft Office, which is a legitimate file. This is trusted. I'm not talking a file that one of our vendors sold you, which the executable or DLL file is saved as trusted. I'm talking about a file that your organization never saw before. Zero-dwell containment triggers that instantly. It will analyze it automatically. And if it thinks it is untrusted, it will either send it to your SOC, or it will just block it depending on you save it. Depending on how you set it up, not save it, by the way. Sorry, it's like 6 a.m. for me here. But now go back. So if the file is good, all good. If the file is bad, it will be blocked from the endpoint. So it's like we're trying to get that oxygen out for viruses to execute in your network. What is the key takeaway here? Protection. We all know every second counts. Lightweight deployment. I mean, just imagine 100,000. I mean, I use the CISO, right? 100,000 endpoint or Let's talk about 10,000 or 5,000 endpoints. You have to be fast to be able to deploy. You have to be fast to be able to manage, to be able to control. While you're doing that, you have to have an uninterrupted data access for users. They should be able to work. Of course, you should use the power of AI, ML, live threat analysis. And as Mo mentioned earlier, by the way, I have the website here as well. I can quickly show you before I forget. This is our cloud verdict, which you can go later, which is threat map of the Xcitium. It shows you live.
We cannot see it, Dr. Ardal. We see only the presentation because you need to share your
because
the whole thing.
I shared the presentation. Anyway, instead of trying to change the settings last second, let's leave it as is. But I will put it towards to end. I'm gonna leave it up so you can see it. Let's go back to zero dwell time. Remember, we talked about pre-execution. In that file, you can use your next generation antivirus, your static analysis, your host firewall, whatever. But you can still use it. But at execution, we are here to help. By the way, for pre-execution, we have our own advanced endpoint protection as well, which we have an antivirus, static analysis, software-based firewall. We provide this as well, but at this stage, I want to talk about what Mo mentioned at the beginning, the zero downtime, which we call zero dwell containment. What we do is we use a virtualized hardware, virtualized registry, virtualized common interface, and if a file comes into your organization, it will automatically open like a sandbox environment, but we call it auto containment. It will be running there and it will be executed there, regardless of what system you use. Even if you're using Windows 7 in a non-virtualized computer, we use our own technology. We are not depending on any other virtualization technology to do that. And of course, in the post-execution, you can have your EDR, XDR, MDR, honestly, I don't care what you call it. But at the end, you can have your detection response agent. By the way, we do provide this as well. You can have your SOC analyst for having your dynamic malware to dynamically analyze the malware, your human threat analyst, and so on. Now, I said we also provide MDR or MXDR, honestly, ZDR, whatever you call it. We help you also to give you the human resources as well. While using our technology, you can also have an add-on through Distilogix, which we can help you during an incident, which you can have, when we are available 24/7. And the very good news is it's fully managed. Tim is our head, our EVP, who's doing that for years in multiple organizations. I would highly recommend you to join our CISO webinars by Xcitium and meet Tim. He usually talks about the product. He talks about how we help the customers. But one thing which I want to tell you is we try to cover you end to end because we know it's important. We know proactive threat hunting can save your organization, can save your CV, can save your shareholders, your customers. We definitely minimize the alert triage, and more importantly, we give you the guidance you need. With Xcitium, we have a huge difference when it's come to MDR services. As I said, we give you what others don't. The zero downtown, zero downtown, the zero dwell.
Zero dwell containment, yeah.
Yes, powered alerts. And we guarantee you to minimize those to be more secure. Again, look, there is no vendor who's going to tell you we have a bad product. There is no vendor who's going to tell you we cannot protect you. As I said in the very beginning of the webinar, please, look, when you buy a shoe, as I said, you go and you try it out. Please do an POC. Reach out to Mo, reach out to his resellers, and try it in your organization. See if the jacket's going to fit you. See if the jacket is going to, make you feel cool or whatever when you buy a jacket. Same thing applies to your security products. Please get it. try it out, compare it, see if it's really prevent, see if it's really promises what gives you, and compare the cost. Look, as I said, Ferrari is the best, one of the best car, Lamborghini, whatever. But it doesn't mean you have to buy. I mean, how many of us do drive a Ferrari? I mean, okay, I drive expensive car as well, but I can afford it. But it doesn't mean. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to drive it. If you get a Kia, it does the same job. Maybe I'm not saying we are a Kia or someone else Ferrari. What I'm trying to say is look at the purpose. If you're in a desert, Ferrari is not the right solution, and none of the vendors is going to tell you that you're in a desert. But if you IT professional, you know the issues. I forget about being IT professional. Just look at the statistics. Everybody's throwing a number: 85%, 25%, 95%, $1 million, $3 million. Look at the statistics, right? And try to compare yourself where you stand. More importantly, compare your product. See how you can save. I'm not talking about just saving time, saving money. I'm talking about saving time, saving your reputation, keeping the trust between yourself and your customers, your shareholders, and more importantly, between you and your CV. You don't want to be the CISO of a hack company. I mean, look, it can happen as long as you have proper incident response procedures, as long as you know how to contain an issue. And back to the product, we have, as I said, endpoint solution. For prevention, we have the zero zero dual containment. We have for protection, we have our advanced endpoint protection. For visibility, we have our EDR. For remediation, we have our endpoint manager. If you want to get managed, we have our MDR, and the complete message, for the complete suite, we have what we call MXDR, whatever, we have what you need. And again, look, don't listen to me. Yes, I wrote many books. Yes, I spoke in many events. Yes, I am some sort of celebrity in cybersecurity, but right now I'm speaking as a vendor. But one thing what I'm recommending you is take the product, try it, compare it, and then give your thought, then share your feedback or decide to buy or not to buy. I'm gonna keep my 20 minutes time. So 3 key takeaways which might help you to win the iPhone. Zero dual containment, not downtime, okay? Protects against unknown damage instantly. And if you buy the EDR, XDR, MDR, it will help you to save time. We, as Xcitium, can help you to consolidate all your endpoint security and management tools into one powerful solution. And again, don't just rely on me. Get it, try it. I promise you're not gonna regret. And third one is zero dual containment powered by MDR and MXDR offers more strategic value at lower per endpoint price. It's gonna help you save time, money, and more importantly, efforts. Mo mentioned a lot about my books, and I thought, everybody all of you gonna win only one iPhone, but why not give everybody a free ebook, Mo? What do you say? Will you be happy if we give all our attendees an ebook of mine?
Yes, of course.
But for that, I have a takeaway. I want you to go to Open EDR. Look, if you cannot afford EDR, we also give you free EDR. With free is open source EDR, where what I recommend you is please go to openedr.com. There is a free training which I prepared, where you can just complete the training, okay, and get a certificate. I think Jerry is in the call as well. You can just get from Xcitium Academy that beautiful certificate. All what you have to do is to win the book, okay, a book of your choice, which I think we're gonna give everybody an ebook. Let's reach out to more. Pick your book, which one you want, and we will send you an ebook. But what I would appreciate is if you can go and complete the training. It's totally free. It's talking not just about Xcitium. It's talking about totally open EDR and what EDR is, what SIEM is, what an antivirus is, and share your certificate at LinkedIn. You will get a signed copy of a book as well, not just ebook. Okay, ebook and everybody's getting. If you want a signed copy of the books, and you can share the details with Mo, I will ship it to Mo, and he can distribute to you, or I can ship it directly. A signed copy of my physical book. Please go to OpenEDR, get certified, and share it in social media via tagging all of us. Any questions we will take later, but in the meantime, let me quickly show you. This is our cloud verdict. We show you, this is all undetected malware, not detected malware, undetected malware across the globe, which we find, and we share this threat intelligence totally for free. All what you have to do is go to trapmap.xcitium.com to do so. With this, I'm coming to my end of my presentation on time. If you have questions, Mo can answer that for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Erdal. Thank you for being generous with the books. That definitely will be very useful. I have one thing, and Dr. Erdal, you've been a CISO for a long time, and probably many of our audience, of our attendees today, they've been in that position as cybersecurity professionals. Our biggest problem was always what? To detect something. So we were sitting on, you're sitting on your SOC, an operation room, probably standing on your toes, trying to detect a problem, detect a behavior, to detect an indicator of compromise, detect a signature, detect anything. And the last 7 years have proven to us that detection first policy simply sucks, doesn't work.
Yes. Correct.
You waste so much time trying to detect indicators of compromise and problems, while what Xcitium does today with zero dwell containment and with zero threat technology is that they brought the dwell time to absolute zero by introducing something different. They don't have to detect anything. They work directly with the kernel. They set exactly where they need to set. You don't need to chase attacks everywhere in your network and your operating system and in the cloud and user behavior. You sit exactly on top of the file system, the registry, the kernel object, the services and the key services and processes, and the DCOM and the RPC of the endpoint. You sit there because everything has to go through there, whether it's a malware or it's a Microsoft Word file that runs or anything. So when you sit there, you make sure that you protect very well. And when someone tries to harm those, you just wipe it out. So I admire that. I admire one thing else also, that absolute zero dwell time has been tested through a transparency page that's been running since 2018. You can Google it easily. We challenge any other partner, any other technology vendor to provide such information. And again, I want to go back to Sharif. If he has any thoughts about this.
So actually, it's funny because I've been working on the OpenEDR for a while now. Actually,
don't forget to share the certificate, please, and tag me so I'll send you proudly. I mean, my book's gonna be good for you, but I'm pretty sure you can give it away to someone.
I was actually messaged once, Melih, because one of the things I wanted to see in OpenEDR was the ability that sends somewhere else, like through HTTPS or something, not just to Elastic integration. That will make it like
message me. I will connect you to Melih. All right.
Yeah, I already messaged him already.
Did he respond back to you?
Yeah. He said it's
great,
Elastic
right?
now. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's a great product. I love it.
Thank you. Just to let everybody know, I was in Dubai Financial City. If you know Middle East, I had an AMG company car. I was living in Dubai Marina, which is the most expensive area. And when Melih, our founder, reached out to me and offered me the CISO job, I'm like, why should I live this beautiful life? He said, look at our technology. And I did. And honestly, that was the reason why I left Dubai behind. And right now I live in New York. Thank you, Sharif. I mean, I knew him before, but I never met him. But you heard it from Sharif. And again, don't trust me. Don't trust Sharif. Look at with your own eyes. Don't trust Mo. check it out, and you will see that we are not just telling you just for the sake of telling, because we believe in it. Thank you, Sharif. Thank you, Mo.
There is a question from Ahmed Al-Aidin where he says, is the system detecting all attacks when you run the affected files? It simply doesn't need to detect, Ahmed.
Yes,
I'll leave it to
containment. Everything runs in a containment. As soon as you click, it's like, think about sandbox. You know, everything is sandbox. As soon as you close, it's gone. It's live sandboxing in your current environment. So honestly, I don't mind double clicking on stuff anymore in my protect endpoints, because I know I have a technology behind it which protects me.
Correct. And one great difference between sandboxing and what Zero Threat does is that Zero Threat allows you as a user to use the application, doesn't deny
Correct.
your business. You continue working. So if it's a Word file, you continue working, copy, paste, and color the fonts and everything. But the
damage is within that
containment. It doesn't spread to your endpoint. So that's a major difference from sandboxing, because sandboxing, it either blocks access to the file until it is analyzed, or it allows access to your actual resources and you're gone. Yeah. Another question also from Ahmed: are there cloud email filter available in the product? Yes, the Xcitium has email security also. Yeah. So the answer
which we
is
call
yes.
secure internet gateway. Email gateway.
Email gateway.
We have also internet gateway.
Correct. Yeah. I want to proceed.
I'm not in sales, sorry guys.
It's okay. I want to proceed with Alexi. So we're going to Zecurion now. We're a bit behind the schedule, but it's really a very exciting webinar. I'm happy with it. So we will go with Zecurion now to introduce Zecurion DLP.
Hello, hi.
Next generation.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, great. So let me start my slide deck. Just a second. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So let me start. First of all, let me introduce Zecurion. We've been established in 2001. We are focusing on internal security. We have offices in Moscow and New York. We have more than 10,000 customers, from small and medium businesses to large enterprises in all industries, all verticals, all market segments. Our product's been featured by Gartner, IDC, Forrester, and other analyst firms, and received many international awards. We have several products in our portfolio, but data loss prevention is our key product and main topic of my today's presentation. So there are some of our latest awards. There are our sample customers. So actually, again, I would like to be rather quick. As I said in the introduction, we introduced a new concept of next generation DLP, which actually represents a new vision, new concept to the DLP system and to the DLP market itself. What's the change in this vision, and what's new or disruptive, as you prefer, we offer for the market? Actually, DLP systems appeared from the compliance problem. First DLP systems, the purpose of the first DLP systems was mainly to provide compliance. Then they evolved a bit, and they started to protect some confidential data. I hope you understand the difference between regulated data and proprietary data of the organization. Regulated data is similar across some jurisdiction or inside some industry. So there could be some predefined policies, predefined rules, that could work out of the box and help the organization to provide compliance with regulatory requirements. Proprietary information is kind of unique for any organization, so they need to spend some time and resources to fine-tune their DLP system and to make sure that this DLP system protects from leaks of sensitive data of some proprietary information of those organizations as well. But still 60% of the DLP market is compliance. But compliance is always a burden for the companies. You know that it's the for every company, every organization, it's just a cost which reduce their net income, reduce their financial results, and companies tend to minimize those costs as they can. Compliance DLP is the reflection of this principle. So the system is quite basic, quite simple. And actually, it's not intended to protect any information from data leaks, but they just necessary to demonstrate that the company took all necessary measures to prevent potential data breach. Protection of proprietary information, it's another story. So it's the real business task. But we offered to consider this task a little bit broader. So protection of information leakage, of sensitive data leakage, is a kind of, protection of information leakage. It's proprietary information leakage is a kind of part of internal security scope of problems. And we offered to consider those problems in a much broader scope. So why internal security? Actually, why we need to broaden this scope of outside of just proprietary information leakage problem. I would like to refer to the global study on occupational fraud and abuse, which was published by Association of Certified Fraud Examiners in 2020. This study is devoted to as it seems from the title, to the occupational fraud and abuse. Those guys, actually, they are internal fraud examiners. They analyzed 2.5 thousand of internal fraud cases from 125 countries, and they found that the total loss due to occupational fraud and abuse was more than 3.6 billion US dollars. If average loss per case was 1.5 million US dollars, and it was around 5% of organizations' revenue, which they lose due to occupational fraud and abuse every year. You can imagine that this number is huge, because for big organizations, 5% of the revenue could be the amount of their net income. So the companies could easily double their net income just by eliminating internal fraud and abuse. And our new vision, our new next generation DLP concept is intended to address this problem. So classic DLP, as I already mentioned, it protects from, it assumes protection from data leaks only. And next generation DLP assumes protection from a much broader scope of insider threats. So of course, our solution provides data leakage prevention as every other DLP system, but also we help to detect internal fraud, reveal employees' misbehavior and misuse of organization resources, conduct forensic investigation, and at the end of the day, this system helps to improve internal security posture of the organization and not to be part of this set statistics that I mentioned on the previous slide. And to do so, we provide a number of unique capabilities which other DLP systems don't have. And currently, I will give you a brief introduction of those unique capabilities. First of all, we have advanced intelligence capabilities, which means that we help for internal security teams to get much more useful information, much more knowledge about what's going on inside the organization, comparing to classic DLP system. So we have user behavior analysis module. I will give you more details on the next slide. With emotional profiling, so we can evaluate not only behavior of users, but also their emotional state. We have also connection diagram. You can see the sample of this diagram on the slide. This diagram is very useful as it displays some hidden connections within your organization. And it helps security teams to evaluate internal information flows inside the organizations, and maybe some hidden groups within the organization. As I mentioned, we have advanced UBA module. This module calculates UBA index for each user and risk level for each user. So you can see if there are some anomalies and some deviations of normal behavior of the user. And also you can, for example, have top 10 or top 20 users with highest risk level. And you can pay more attention to those users to better investigate what are they doing, and is there any suspicious or dangerous in their behavior. We have also behavioral profiles of users and groups, so you can compare behavior of some certain user with some certain profile. We have also advanced control capabilities, which means that we can control not only standard data leakage channels as every DLP system does, but we can also control some aspects of user activities which classic DLP system doesn't control. We have keyboard recording, user session recording, meaning creating screenshots for user workstations. We have application control, and also we can control not only what's going on inside computers and networks, but also the surrounding environment. For example, we have microphone and webcam recording feature, which could be activated at any time by schedule or on any event. And so you can turn any computer in your network into the surveillance device. Those recordings, this information could be very useful in the course of some forensic investigation, or if you need to collect some legal evidence for escalation of the case to the law enforcement agencies or to the court. We have also kind of unique feature that other DLP systems don't have, screen photo detection. We can detect if someone tries to make a photo of the screen using their smartphones. We use artificial intelligence algorithm, which analyze the image from the webcam and can understand if someone places a smartphone in front of the computer display. We have also screen watermark feature, which means you can set gray watermark on top of any application window, which could display username, timestamp, and other useful information which identify the user. Actually, it's not the protection in literal sense, but using those screen watermarks could be a showstopper for your employees to make a photo of the screen. So they see that this photo would contain their name and all information that could identify them in a matter of seconds. We have also incident response workflow automation. This module for bigger organizations with bigger security teams. And this feature provides provides a tool for internal security teams for collaboration within the security team during incident investigation. So it's a typical task tracker, but inside the DLP system. You can create new investigation, you can assign responsible guys, you can assign tasks for them, control execution of those tasks, exchange comments, attach files and incidents from the DLP archive, and so on. So to summarize what I said above, there are compliance DLP, which are quite basic and simple, and they help you just to provide compliance with regulatory requirements. There are IP protection DLP, which helps you to protect some sensitive information, proprietary information of the company from the leakage, and of course to provide compliance. And with Zecurion DLP, we provide compliance and protection of proprietary information, but on top of that, we help to reduce cost of investigation, identify employees' misbehavior, misuse of organization resources, reveal internal fraud, financial manipulations, corruption, embezzlement, espionage, and other dangerous things that could lead to real financial losses, according to Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. So those were unique features of Zecurion DLP, but actually we have all classic set of typical DLP functionality, which I will cover right now in a few slides. So with our DLP, you can control all possible data leakage channels and prevent leakage of some sensitive or regulated information by using predefined or your own custom omni-channel policies. We support file content extraction and analysis, and you can create both content policies and context policies. You can use single web console for managing the system, and we provide full archive of all files and events for investigations and retrospective analysis. We provide flexible access control to the management console. So for the bigger security teams, you can assign different access rights for different security officers for the DLP console functions. Our system, I think, is most flexible in terms of deployment. We have 13 different deployment options, which means that you barely need to change to do any significant changes inside your IT infrastructure to deploy our DLP system. We support endpoint agent. We have also gateway modules for filtering web traffic, emails. There are actually many options. So as I said, we provide advanced set of content detection technologies that you can use in DLP policies. Those are typical exact matching algorithms, and also we support algorithms, more advanced algorithms based on machine learning. So a couple of use cases. Allianz Insurance Company, they use 7,500 licenses of device control, mainly for compliance purposes. And second use case is more interesting. It's the internal fraud use case. We participated in the investigation. So I cannot give you the name of the company, but I can give you general information about the scam of the fraud and about some consequences and investigation process. So the company which owns oil refinery plant, they found that this plant sold their products, their production, to fake intermediaries with significant discounts. And this set of bogus firms, which existed only on paper, resold products to real customers for normal price. The difference in price was pocketed by organized insiders group inside the company. And actually, this difference was in fact, the loss for this organization and the revenue of this group. So it's a kind of business inside the business. As I said, we participated in the investigation. So with the help of our DLP system, the security team found that it was a group of managers, including one C-level guy. They engaged in suspicious communications with external contacts and exchanged some irrelevant documents. Based on this information that we helped to collect, the organization decided to conduct a financial and legal audit. And based on the results of this audit and on the information that we helped to collect, they found that the total loss from this group was $25.2 million annually. The company managed to fire 3 key members of this group, again, based on the information that we helped to collect. Also, they filed a lawsuit for the compensation of damage and initiated a criminal case against those guys. So that's all from my side. I see that I have 2 minutes more. So I'm going to ask Artyom to show you how our web console looks like, just to have a quick feel of the product, if it's possible.
Yes, please.
Yes, I can continue. Alexey, thank you for your very deep introduction. I just will try to add technical colors to our guests. And here you can see Zecurion web management console. It's now you can see how my web browser, how my web console is connected to the existing repository. There is captured data, there is captured incidents, and security team is able to do all necessary investigation here, recognize and understand the most active users, most valuable channels, most useful devices, and all necessary statistics are right here. Also, each particular monitored guy will have his personal profile, personal folder, how to say, there all captured incidents and deep system logs and system statistics will be stored. In this personal profile, the system will collect all necessary logs, and you will see here connection schema, a connection diagram about this guy, his colleagues, how this person connects to his, I don't know, member teams. You will see here all necessary channels, protocols, I don't know, instant messaging, clouds, corporate mail, and other valuable network channels. You will see it here. Also, system will collect all necessary information about user behavior. You will have here timelines. System will detect and system will recognize user deviation and behavior patterns. And you will see all these captured logs here and that on that diagram. Also, system will be able to collect and analyze user activity, how this guy works on his corporate workstation, how many time this user spent in, I don't know, entertainment portals, news portals, what kind of application this guy used this week. You will see here all necessary categorization, websites and application categorization. Also, you will have here discipline reports and productive indexes for this particular person. And you will see it on this in this section. Also, system will trace and will identify all potential leakages, data loss vectors on the channels, network channel, local channel. System will analyze the workstations, and for each particular incident, system will collect all necessary metadata, detailed system statistic, and you will see it in the management console like a record, like a incident profile section in this web management console. You will also see, system will also collect all necessary evidences. System will do the web camera snapshots. System will take the workspace snapshot, and you will have it these pictures, these images in incident profile, as well as you also have the document, the captured document that this guy tried to steal or copy to his private memory stick, and all necessary validation steps and key attributes. Also, let me demonstrate you one new feature in Zecurion. It's a new data loss vector for us. We have applied, we have developed the endpoint tool, the tool on the endpoint that will help you to detect the image of the mobile device, mobile phones. If in case someone will try to make a photo of the corporate workstation, this secret document on top of the workstation workspace, and the system will detect if someone will try to make a photo, and also push warning alert notification to security team that this guy tried to make a photo. And in some cases, system is also able to block this guy on his workstation in his corporate domain, in the corporate domain, and turn on the workstation. This is very short intro, technical brief about Zecurion capabilities. Let me then move control to next participant. I think from my side, I'm done. Yes, we can continue.
Appreciate it, Artem. Before we go with our comments, I want to give time to Nico now, because he has like a hard stop to leave. Then we get the comments from Sharif after that. Nico, please, we apologize for keeping you late. I know you have a hard stop to leave. Please share your screen, and once you're done, we will get our comments about both Zecurion and Fractis.
That sounds good, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm just going to share my screen in a moment. And thank you everyone for your patience while I'm trying to do that. Hopefully you can see it full screen.
Yes.
Fantastic. And by the way, thank you to all the presenters so far for excellent discussion and presentation so far. I'll keep mine brief and to the point. Fractis, I'll tell you a little bit about us, who we are and what we do and what is our purpose. And then I'll tell you a little bit about the services that we offer to the market, to the cybersecurity space, which are not technology driven. They're advisory and consulting driven, and they have also a managed element to these services. I'll be brief, and hopefully any questions I'll be happy to answer afterwards as well. Okay, so who we are, as I mentioned, myself and a group of colleagues, we are all kind of ex-cybersecurity professionals who have served as CISOs and have held consulting roles in various larger organizations in many different sectors across the public and private domain. Each of us has an area of specialization within their field, whether that be security architecture, incident response, forensics analysis, security strategy and risk management, governance, and so on and so forth. So we have a team essentially of very experienced individuals. What we try, and we are headquartered in Athens, but we serve clients throughout Europe and the Middle East. Our purpose as a business is to become trusted advisors and to become the people who help our clients and our partners to solve important problems. These are the things that we have been talking about today, and all of my colleagues and the very interesting and very capable solutions that you have been hearing from so far are trying to solve very important problems. So there's a technology element to that and a solution element, and there's the people element as well, not just the users and the end users, but there's also a people element in terms of deployment, in terms of doing a lot of things that are process related, strategic, but also setting up functions and running tasks as well that relate to cybersecurity overall. So we try to be that trusted advisor to our partners and clients. We do try to, we also offer an element of managed services, particularly regarding incident response, which comes unfortunately after an effect, but also before an effect, if clients want to have that ability to act quickly, and other than having a tool that allows them to kind of respond if something is identified, such as DLP, such as EDR, MDR, or MXDR. There's also an element of the kind of the strategic and crisis management response that is, you know, human related as well. And that is kind of rounded up by top tier consultancy expertise that we provide. A little bit about myself and my colleagues. So I've had the experience of working with national governments, particularly in the UK. I was a director at UK's PricewaterhouseCoopers Cybersecurity Division for over 6 years. I've held several CISO positions, some confidential, some kind of allowed to share. Ultimately, myself and my colleagues have been in the industry kind of in the forefront of dealing with incidents. Again, as I said, either working internally for clients or also or helping them externally as consultants. And that's kind of what the team comprises of, as I said, other than myself and my colleagues also with different areas of expertise. So what do we want to do with this expertise and with these services? Essentially, we have the purpose of creating this business in practice. We've recognized the need for clients as well as partners to provide particular tailored services that are looking at cybersecurity in the IT and the OT space. And these services are not necessarily the typical things that you will see. It's not just an ISO 27001 assessment. It's not just a training and awareness exercise or a bog standard risk and maturity assessment. These are things that are already out in the market, but we're trying, as I said, to tackle important problems and difficult kind of scenarios where a lot of tailoring and customization is needed. So we don't, so that what we do is essentially apply our knowledge and create an environment and solution and an advisory service that tackles each individual client's or partner's need, and not creating repetition and kind of just using templates to go about it. This is split in various different things. We offer project management regarding particular projects such as crisis, cyber war games, kind of architecture, kind of review and deployments. We provide outsourcing secondments, and I'll tell you a little bit about those in the next slide. All of our services can be white labeled, kind of representing your organization as well, if that is something that you choose, or we can also speak directly to clients. We also have a small number of very specialized managed solutions that, as I said, we use to address needs for forensics, for incident response, for analysis. And we also provide advisory services that are particularly designed for something that a company offers to their clients, which is, you know, highly tailored, a highly tailored approach. Now, you may be wondering, what are the examples of the things that I spoke about? And I have some examples to share with you. And it is not a definitive list, but it is an indicative list of the many things that we can kind of tailor, as I said, to make sure that we address the partner or the client in question. Such examples include providing people that have operated as CISOs in the past, such as colleagues, Mr. Oskaya, Dr. Oskaya, and myself have operated in previous roles. So we provide this expertise and this experience for a particular moment of time or for a crisis, or maybe we can do that on an annual basis or a certain number of days, etc. This includes a CTO service, which is kind of the profile of having someone who has been a very experienced technology leader in the form of an IT director or a CIO or a CTO. And we have, as I said, colleagues in the business who have this expertise and provide these services already to our clients. Then we go to the aspects of governance and compliance. Now, sometimes you will hear clients not having the need of, look, I need someone who's a CISO to help me tackle a particular problem. Sometimes they have something that needs to be done from a perspective of building a strategy. There are tools in place, there are resources in place, there are problems to tackle or risks to address. How do you prioritize them? When do you do what? And when do you put one technology before the other? Do you start with DLP or do you start with EDR and MDR? What about the entirety of your organization? So the point around this is that we try to tailor the approach to make sure that we don't just offer something which is an assessment. We try to partner with the client and with the company that we do business with to understand their environment, their business, and try to offer services that are actually meaningful to them at that particular point in time. This may include standards like 27001, the NIST directive, OT standards. We've worked with most of them, but it doesn't necessarily need to be reliant on a standard. In terms of assessments, these vary, and these can be technical assessments or non-technical assessments that we offer. An example is a network that is architected in a particular way, where we can try to examine how it has been architected to make sure that, at least from a good practice perspective, things are not missed, and it's not easy to necessarily kind of go in and do whatever you want in a network. There's always going to be ways in, of course, but from a perspective of architecture and design, make sure that there is security and privacy by design kind of element is considered, which can then help kind of test the resilience by performing some sort of exercises on top of that. The simulate and train service is where we provide cyber war games, and we provide crisis management simulations tabletop. We have already partnered and we have delivered this to major company boards across Europe and the EMEA, where we sit down with the CEOs and the CFOs of the companies that we help, and we've tailored a particular cyber scenario where we walk them through a crisis related to a cyber incident and test their readiness, test their ability to make quick and meaningful decisions. And I can tell you that during all of these exercises, there's always aha moments from management and from the people in the room who think that they have certain plans in place and certain tools, but if something was to fall over, what is plan B? And everyone is kind of looking at each other who don't really know what plan B is, even if they do have one. So these are really powerful exercises that we provide for clients, and they have been really impactful so far. We also have expertise across the OT space, and myself and my colleagues have worked with some of the biggest kind of energy suppliers across Europe. We've worked with Shell, BP, EDF, kind of water companies, energy companies. And that's where we kind of really have a deep appreciation about the importance of the OT estate and how difficult it is. Actually, everyone talks about convergence between IT and OT. To a certain degree that happens, but actually being on the inside of businesses that have serious OT, we know that most companies actually do not want to converge, because as soon as they do that, it completely eliminates the segregation elements that are really, really important in those estates. But ultimately, the services that I spoke about above also relate to OT. And myself and colleagues do have experience in the OT space, in the oil and gas and energy, manufacturing, retail. All of these sectors have OT elements, which also apply to the cybersecurity agenda, which is something that we really want to address and we offer through our services and expertise. And finally, we offer crisis management and response services, either pre-incident or post-incident. Pre-incident meaning that if a client has, let's say, the appetite or the maturity to establish some sort of preparation beforehand to at least enable them to have some sort of logging or some sort of visibility of endpoints and network, we can help them partner with that. We don't necessarily have to, we're not tied to a solution. As I said, we are vendor agnostic and we work with many types of technologies. And we also provide support and services post-incident. For that, we do have to make use of technology to make sure that we have visibility of the network and endpoints, and to see how we can kind of resolve the problem and then try to find out how it happened and how we can stop it from happening again while the client is busy trying to rebuild or redesign their network. You know, that's a quick summary of the types of services that I wanted to share. These are indicative and these are examples. As I said, you know, I don't really like lists because our services are really meant to be kind of tailored to each customer. But the things that I've listed in this presentation, I think represent the majority of what we have been asked to help with over the last 2 to 3 year period. This does change annually and very, very quickly, but that's kind of we are built to be adaptable and support our clients as best as we can. Finally, I just wanted to give you a bit of a sense of the types of things that we have as certifications and licenses. These are sometimes important in RFP stages, and we do help customers when it comes to either particular problems or dealing with a particular scenario, which comes helpful. And these are the things that we individually have as consultants in the business. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much. I've tried to keep it brief and short, and hopefully if there's any questions, please do give me a shout. I can see the chats, and hopefully that has been not too long, and on to the next presenter.
You're awesome, Nico. You're awesome. It's great. I like to consider you guys at like IBM Professional Services, great kind of services locally here in our region. I like it. Guys, I know we're way behind the time limit. We have 10 minutes for the online online quiz, the game. But in 1 minute, I want to hear from Sharif again. And look at these two great companies, whether it's Zecurion or Fractis, and look at the concept of extending DLP to the environment, to audio, like calling someone, telling them about what you have, what you're seeing as a secret document, or to try to take a photo of that. Considering all of that, in addition to the amazing services package that Fractis has, I want to hear from you what you think.
Okay, you want to start with Zecurion or Fractis first? I have a question for each.
Zecurion, let's say.
Okay, one more thing is like, with your solution, do you get stopped by EDRs and other security controls when you run it? Or it's actually working? Like, does it get detected and stopped? Because it has like key logging and all of that.
Actually, we manage, yes, it's the problem, but we manage this with some of EDR vendors. We have kind of partnership, so kind of whitelisting program. And with other, there are actually some ways how to include our software to the exception of their working scope.
Okay, so you need to be like whitelisted first before you actually do the deployment.
Of course.
Okay. One thing, you detect if somebody's taking a picture, right? Like from the webcam or something.
Yeah.
Okay, what if I put my finger on the camera? Will you detect that I put my finger on the camera? Because actually, I can put my finger and take a picture.
Actually, we face a lot of such questions, and I offered to include in online quiz something like invent 5 ways how to avoid this protection. But actually,
nice.
of course, first of all, it's not 100% protection. And any DLP system doesn't provide 100% protection. It helps you not to eliminate any incident, but to reduce the risk of the incident, to reduce the loss which you have because of those incidents. So if we are discussing something like closing the camera, actually we can detect that someone closed the camera. Actually, but of course, all these algorithms they are probabilistic, and there are false positives and false negatives. So we cannot, and no one is able to provide 100% protection when they use probabilistic algorithms.
I see. I agree. It's for me. I think you should. I mean, you're giving yourself much less credit than it should be. I mean, it's not just a DLP; it's a full surveillance system. It's actually very cool.
Thank you.
So yeah. So for the CISO part, I want to know what's the most important task for a CISO. Like something that why having a CISO? It's important because most of companies actually don't recognize they actually need one. They are good with an IT security manager, and that's it.
What?
Other than
Sharif,
going
are
to
you gonna
jail.
get me fired? Just joking.
No. I'm just.
I'm
I
just
want to
joking.
know what's the point of like justifying this. I know in the US you get to go to jail instead of everybody else. I mean, it's the mission now in the US. Actually, you're subject to arrest and all that. But like, what's the important task, and what do you feel like the most add-on of having a CISO in an organization? And that's for everyone, because I think most people don't see why they need one. I personally agree that you need one. I just want you from your own perspective.
Let's start with Nico, because
I can go
guys,
first. I can go first, and happy to hear all views. I don't think there's a right and wrong answer here, to be honest, Sharif. But I can tell you kind of my personal view, and I think that the value of having a CISO, first of all, that needs to be asked by the very top. Unless the board asks for a CISO, the CISO might as well not join. It will not have any impact. But if senior management is convinced, and if you want to convince them, I would say, what's the argument, is that the IT department would traditionally look at things very differently at particular verticals rather than across the organization. And for me, one of the most crucial role of a CISO, if that post did not exist before, is to elevate the importance of cyber risk across the business. Not just to the board, but also to each individual director, manager, and across the business divisions. Elevate its importance, but also understand what makes the business tick, how the business works, in order to then try to see where the business-wide gaps are, in order to try to prioritize. Otherwise, in the IT space, I think we're in an endless prioritization of tools and deployments and upgrades and cloud and VMware and all of these things that have to go in 24/7 every year, which doesn't necessarily touch how is the business exposed to cyber risk, and what are we doing about it, and what we're actually doing about it, is that aligned to our business requirements and business objectives. That's my initial view, very high level, but
Good. I like how you articulated, Nico, and this shows me why you guys are IBM Professional Services, a great company. That's exactly what the CISO is expected to have, and that's the value what they add. Allow me, everyone else, I'm not going to continue with answering this question with the remaining team, because we have to switch now to the fun part. which is the online quiz game. And the online quiz game is a 10-minute quiz game that we've been promising our audience for since the beginning of the webinar. And it's a very simple game, guys. The only thing you need to do is download the Kahoot app on your mobile phone. So I'm gonna give you like 1 minute to download the Kahoot app on your mobile phones and be ready for the exam. Once for the online exam, it's gonna take 10 minutes. Again, apologize for taking so long. We'll try to wrap it as fast as possible. It's 10 questions. Each one is a multiple choice kind of a question where there is only one single correct answer that you have to pick. And you win by picking the correct answer faster than others. So it's a function of correct answer and the time that you take to answer the question. Let me share my screen just to show you some details while you guys are downloading the app. So this is how the Kahoot logo looks like. So you will find it like on your mobile phone, whether it's iPhone or Android. Please download it from the Kahoot app, from the mobile app, the app store, sorry. And once you download it, it doesn't require you to register or like add anything. It's simple, next, and you're there. And you have to reach to this page where you see these colorful squares at the bottom of your screen. You need to get those because that's where you click to enter the PIN number of the game so that you can participate. So please make sure that you get there. If it asks you that, if for whatever reason it asks you while you're installing it, if it asks you about whether it's for like a company or personal use, just select personal use, individual player, go with the easiest option. It should not be a big thing. It shouldn't take more than 1 minute to get things ready. There is a question here. Let me see if I can answer it. Can I use the laptop? Yes, you will need to use the laptop. Yes, sir. You will need to use the laptop to be able to see my questions. I will be sharing the questions using my laptop. So you need to see them while you're selecting the correct answer using your mobile phone. So you read the question from the screen that I'm sharing, and you select the correct answer by choosing the color that relates to the correct answer. So if the correct answer is the first one, it's red, then you click on the red square so that you select the correct answer. So you need your mobile phone, hold your mobile phone so that you can answer, and you need to look at the screen to see the questions. So you need to see the questions on my screen and then select the answers using. Mariam said, all right, please let me know if you managed to install in the chat, if you managed to install the app so that we can proceed. And I'll stop my share. I'll start the game so that you can see the pin. I'll share the pin using the chat. I'll have to run. Okay, Nico, appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much, Nico. Thank you so much. So I'll stop my share and let me start the game while you guys are installing the app and getting ready. Okay, there we are. And here's the pin. Now let's share the audio too. Share sound. Good. So the pin is 218-1318. Give you a minute to join. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Amazing. Remember, the prize is the iPhone 14 Max, the latest iPhone 14. It's worth it. Ten questions, multiple choice, one correct answer, one single correct answer. Be faster, and of course, select the correct answer. "24 players, but we need more. So we're gonna wait like, I don't know, 30 seconds. "25 players. So we will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're starting now. Shiva, you made it to the last second. Good. Start. Okay, so we will get the first question in this Disrupt Cybersecurity webinar online game, quiz game. And the first question: which one of the following is not a Protelion solution? Remember to select or to click on the color that matches the correct answer. Use your mobile phone to select the correct answer and read the question from my screen. Oh, good, good. People are fast. "30 seconds to go." And it's such an exciting music for us, the start of the quiz. Huh? 10 seconds to go. Good. So we've got 17 people that selected the correct answer. Yes, Protelion does not make UPSs and batteries, okay? They do not do electric equipment. They do make next generation firewalls. They do have software-defined VPN. They do provide OT and industrial security solutions. Great job. Now we move to the next question. Oh, before the next question, let's see who scored the highest. So we've got Mohammed. You're on the top, Mohammed. And guys, later you need to send me, I'll share my email. If you're the winner, send me email because sometimes I get confused with the names, but I'll do my best to control that. So Mohammed, you're on the top. We still have 9 more questions. Everyone has a great chance to win. Protelion Secure Communication, the SCS for secure corporate messaging, is composed of what? Which one of the following is a component of Protelion SCS, Secure Communication, that replaces the messy WhatsApp for corporate messaging? And now for some reason, music is creepy. I don't know why. Ten seconds to go. Great. So 22 people got it right. Yes, it's all of the above. All of these components are parts of the Protelion secure communication. Most people got it right. That's amazing. Let's see the scoreboard. Oh, Muhammad, you lost it. Keep pushing, man. Ahmed Abdul Wahid, great job, man. Ahmed from Qatar, we're happy to see you always. And Ahmed Bakhit also. Oh, great. Next. Number of applications that Protelion next generation firewall identifies and controls is how many applications can the Protelion next generation firewall identify? I love this tool. Cool music, online games. The reason why we kept 1 minute for each question is that because we've got people from regions that do not speak English as the first language, like some of them are French speaking, and so wanting to give everyone a good chance to understand and read the question properly. And 14 people got it right. Yes, it's 2,265 applications. Correct. Let's see what happens to the scoreboard. Mudassar, amazing. Mudassar from Dubai. You're great, man. Charge. Ahmed, okay, Ahmed Atari is there. Let's continue. Remember, there is only one winner. Which one of the following is not a Zecurion product? Not a Zecurion product. Thirty seconds to go. Keep pushing, guys. One winner. Great. 16 people got it right. Yes, Zecurion doesn't make single mode fiber connectors or fiber switches. They do provide DLP. They do provide data-centric audit and protection. They do provide secure gateways, but they do not make fiber connections. 16 people got it right. Let's see what happened to the score. Ahmed Atari, great job, man. Great job. Mudassar, keep pushing. Everyone keep pushing, guys. We still have enough questions to catch up. 5 questions. The question number 5. Zecurion intelligence capabilities include which one of the following is part of the Zecurion intelligence capabilities? Great. So we've got 23 correct answers. Amazing job. Yes, it's all of the above. It does full archive of files and events, user behavior analytics, and it does connection diagram display. Remember that one that Artem showed us? So yes, it does all of that. It's all of the above. And Mudassar, amazing job, man. And Muhammad, you're on fire. You're like going so fast forward. So keep pushing. Charge. Question 6, which one of the following is not a Zecurion DLP detection technology? I like the music now. Great, 20 correct answers. And yes, Zecurion doesn't make any air pressure meters. They do not do that for valves or for anything. They do keywords and dictionaries, regular expressions, machine learning. They do digital fingerprints, OCR, everything that you know about DLP and more. Let's see what happened. Mudassar, you're on fire, man. Good job. Mudassar from Dubai. Question number 7. Xcitium zero threat, zero dwell containment technology brings dwell time, which is time needed to respond to attacks, to detect and respond to attacks, down to what? $14 correct answers. And yes, it brings it down to absolute zero. It acts exactly at the time of execution of malware, and it just wipes it out. Mudassar, great job. Still ahead. Oh, but this is a close like race. Ahmed, you have a very good chance to get there. 2 more questions. Question number 8. Which statement is true about Xcitium zero threat technology? Which statement is true? Every other statement is wrong, is false. These seconds. Ah, 7 people got it right. Xcitium prevents unknown malware from accessing your critical system resources, like the file system, the services, the kernel object, and it does contain it, but it doesn't need the Xcitium zero threat does not need to detect signatures or behaviors. It does not work exactly like sandboxing. It does not, it's different from sandboxing, as I said. It allows you to open the file and still work on the file. It doesn't interrupt your business, which sandboxing that cannot provide as a feature. And it does allow you to use applications and find unknown files while contained. So the main function is that it protects your critical system resources. Let's see what happened to the Mudassar. Amazing job, man. Amazing job. And Ahmed, you're doing well, also pushing both Ahmed Atari and Bakhit and Ahmed. Oh, it's all Ahmed here. And Suhaib, good job, guys. Question number 9. Which statement is false about Xcitium zero threat technology or essentials? One statement is false. For these seconds. Seconds. Good. Yeah, most people got it right. That's great. So Xcitium Essentials, Zero Threat Essentials, does not require removal of your existing antivirus. So if you love your Kaspersky or McAfee or whatever antivirus that you have, you love your EDR, you can keep them, and then you get the full protection. It closes the hole, the 1% hole that is causing a big trouble in today's cybersecurity industry. So it does not require, this is a wrong statement, it does not require removal of customers' existing antivirus. Mudassar doing job, great job. The last question, which one of the following is not a service provided by Fractis? For these seconds. Ten seconds to go for the winner. Let's see if Mudassar holds his position. So 18 people got it right. Yes. Fractis, they do not do structural cabling or installation testing. They do CISO as a service, CTO as a service, governance, risk assessment, crisis management, and they do simulate and train. And let's see who's the winner. Remember, one winner only. And third place, Ahmed Abdul Wahid. Ahmed, hard luck, great job, hard luck. Ahmed Bakhit again, hard luck. What? The winners are all Ahmeds. But probably Mudassar is the first. Mudassar, amazing job, man. Mudassar from Dubai, you are the winner of today's prize of this webinar, Disrupt. Guys, of course, I know you, Mudassar. You don't need to send me email, so you're well known to us as a company. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. We apologize for taking so long. Taken way more time than expected. It was so much fun being with you. Appreciate it. We will share the video recording of this webinar. We will share the presentations with you guys. And for the speakers and our guests of honor, I really don't know what to say. There are no words that I can find to describe how grateful we are at Distilogix. Thank you for supporting our region. Thank you for waking up so early and being with us today. Enjoy your night or day, wherever you are.